I know it's only Tuesday, the weekend is still far away, but here's a question for you. Do you like to think? Let me rephrase. Do you like to sit in one place without any device, without pen and paper, without speaking to anyone else, and just think? If you're human, you most likely don't. Because apparently, thinking hurts. A new study says so, and several others agree. They say you will do everything in your power to avoid thinking. But how far are you willing to go? About a decade ago, researchers at the Harvard University conducted a study. They recruited students and ushered them into a room alone without any books, phones, or any kind of material. The room was completely empty, barring one piece of furniture, which was a chair with lots of wires and one button. If the button was pressed, the wires delivered shocks, harmless but uncomfortable shocks. The students were asked to sit in the chair with the wires attached to their skin, and they had to remain seated for about 15 minutes. They could not fall asleep. They simply had to sit there and think, entertain themselves with their thoughts. But what happened next was far from entertaining. The students hated the experience. A few minutes into the study, their minds wandered. They became uncomfortable. They struggled to concentrate, and nothing helped. Some participants hated thinking so much, it drove them to press the button. 2/3 of the men and 1/4 of the women gave themselves electric shocks sitting in that chair. One man shocked himself 190 times in a span of 15 minutes. So this may shock you, but humans really do hate thinking, to the point that they would prefer a jolt of pain, because thinking is a lot of work. And it can be a painful experience. Not literally, of course. The brain has no nerve ending, so it cannot feel physical pain. So when scientists say that thinking hurts, they don't mean it hurts like the pain in your neck. Thinking hard can be mentally exhausting, much like exercise can wear out the body. And this is subjective. Thinking can make you feel tired. It can make it harder for you to concentrate. It can make you irritable. The pain comes in all shapes and sizes because thinking takes real effort. It eats up the body's resources. It takes energy. It requires sustained attention. And this applies to all kinds of thinking. When you resist scratching an itch, your brain is exerting control. When you're choosing what to wear, your brain is making decisions. When you're being polite to a rude co-worker, your brain is working full time and going against your natural desire to perhaps spew abuse. These things come naturally to people, but for every little choice that they make, they are thinking, and this effort can tire the brain. There are ways to avoid the hurt though. Treat thinking like an exercise. First, build your thinking muscle. Research shows that our brains get stronger with effort. And second, know when to take a break. For instance, after a grueling day's work, even if you do something as simple as ordering groceries, you may feel weary because after a day of thinking hard, the brain has slowed down. It can only process so much information. So learn to cut the brain some slack. And the third thing you can do, conserve your mental energy when you can. Humans have a very limited capacity for simultaneous thought, which is why it is impossible to multitask. You may think you're doing it, but scientifically it does not exist. Instead, the brain switches tasks. It chooses which information to process in quick succession. And this means more work and more exhaustion. So reduce the load. The funny thing here is that thinking is the most accessible activity on earth. It is free for all. Yet it comes at a cost. You cannot avoid it, but you can train your brain and know when to push it.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
On this today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can we expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. The first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.